Chuck D, rapper, actor, producer, and leader of the group Public Enemy and part of Prophets of Rage.
Actor?
Yeah. Are you an actor?
Oh, I have too much respect for thespians. What up, crew? Salute to you. I've been a fan a long time.
Well, thank you, Chuck. It's good to have you in. And
glad I can make it. I mean, be accepted to come in the Dan Patrick show.
Well, I know you love sports.
Yeah.
But if I said you had to choose between music or sports, you could only have one in your life.
Well, because I couldn't play, I was like, definitely it's going to be music because my voice, I wanted to be a sportscaster.
You did?
Yeah. I grew up, listening to Marv Albert and, Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy. And
did you ever host a sports show?
I've done a couple, sports shows like popping in and popping out. I did for that network, ESPN. I did the Ali special, kind of like I've been asked to do some things.
Who did you want to be growing up?
My dad was the superstar. He's just like the chip. I'm the chip off of his block, and he was a sports fan, and you better follow the teams that he followed. So I'm born in Flushing in 1960 in the shadows of the World's Fair, which had Shea Stadium and now Citi Field for some of y'all. And Mets fan, and
they were bad back then too.
Yeah, but the National League didn't have a team, and then everybody black in New York followed the Dodgers, and then a little bit of the Giants, never the Yankees, because they were the last to have a black player or really a significant one. Elston Howard, they kept Vic Power in the minors forever, and people were like, "What?"
But how big was that to you or your dad growing up? What the Yankees were doing?
What the Yankees were doing in the 60s?
The fact that they weren't, that they were one of the last to
that was
integrate.
big. That was big because everybody immediately, every black person followed, Brooklyn Dodgers, and Jackie Robinson was like this. The magnitude of Jackie Robinson is just today, just kind of almost like forgotten, and he was just major, and it still had remnants going into the 60s and the 70s when I was growing up. Jackie Robinson was on my book reports. It was like he was our hero. I was like, you could not get Jackie Robinson out of your whole life.
It's part of your DNA.
Yeah, and then my father, of course, everybody was the Dodger fan. He said, one day Jackie Robinson came to my school, him and Campanella, and these gigantic guys came in, so it was something.
Are you still a Dodger fan at all?
No, Met fan.
But the fact that your dad was a Dodger fan, that didn't trickle down at all. Once they left Brooklyn?
They left,
oh, okay.
Then everybody assumed the National League Metropolitans. And everybody that says, oh, yeah, Mets. Well, this is really a New York Giants hat.
Yeah, it is.
But it's also, this comes from the Giants, and those pinstripes came from the Yankees, and the blue came from the Dodgers, but all these sports fans just don't know these things.
And you're a Willie Mays fan?
Who couldn't be?
Yeah.
My hero's Roberto Clemente.
Why Roberto?
Because he transcended sports.
Oh, what he did with
he was
off the field?
Yeah, and we knew he was the unbelievable humanitarian. From the outside looking in, they didn't have as many detailed shows back in the day, but you knew that Roberto Clemente, especially when he died, that he was,
that was New Year's Eve, I think. Didn't he die?
Yeah, it was significant.
But I remember watching him, and he played with a style. He had flair.
Yes.
And he had, there was something about how he did. Everybody else was playing rock and roll, and he was playing jazz.
Yeah.
His arm was unbelievable. The way he ran, had a great smile. And that Pittsburgh team. You had Pop Stargell, Doc Ellis.
First all-black team.
Yeah.
Starting lineup, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we knew this stuff as kids, and it was significant to us. Athletes spoke to us. Entertainers spoke to us, and it meant a lot because we wasn't woven into society. So these things were our foundation. Spike Lee says it best in his movies as he comes out and how he came up. It's similar.
But I mentioned that if I looked at the lyrics to your music back in the late 80s, it's appropriate now.
Unfortunately. But one thing about it, older people pass on, new people come in. You want to get rid of the stench that hovers over institutions. And music is one of those things that can always be a universal language and cross the timelines, the gender lines, the barriers, the genres, and come across. And that's what we do at Prophets of Rage. And so, yeah, it's not the same story because we're in a new time where everything changes. So, but some things remain the same. You got to be adamant about, addressing it.
But why the kind of combo platter with Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill, and Public Enemy?
Tom Morello looked at the monstrosity of what was happening in 2016, and Tom said, "I got to do more than just tweet about it." And he called what would be a task force of revolutionary-minded, forward artists, who are fearless in saying and doing things, and create prophets of rage. With all that, you have to be also badass on the stage. You have to be relentless. We have to train to perform, and just begin to say, well, we don't care if you like it or not. We will convince you that this performance and what we have to say will at least have you thinking that if you think it's messed up, the world ain't going to fix itself. You have to un-F the world.
Did you ever fear for your life with Public Enemy?
We show no fear.
Publicly, you don't.
You fear for stupidity.
Yes.
You fear for ignorance. But you got to do what you got to do. You got to perform. You have to be on your TV show. You have to take callers. You have to be in the audience. Sometimes you got to take public transportation. Fear is not the way we should live our lives. There's a lot of people fearful. Just to keep it music-wise, we think that bands and artists out there should be fearless and at least saying what they believe.
Yeah.
Not trying to follow their marketing person or their record company or
well, that's what it is now. How would Public Enemy be today with the way music is, the way it's sort of we manufacture pop stars?
If we came out today,
yeah,
we'd be prophets of rage.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we'd be prophets of rage, making banging songs that are fearless. And Public Enemy released a song this past summer, and we gave it to 750,000 fans. So, I mean, look, we're worldwide, and music is a universal language. It's just starting to happen with national sports in this country where it's just being able to become worldwide. When the Dream Team was talked about as being this world phenomenon, we in music already were like, oh, here they come. They're new to the world. They're fresh world puppies using their passports. We had just played stadiums in Barcelona, and here comes the Dream Team. And so now national sports, USA sports, are now they're worldwide. Global. Because the World Wide Web, and everybody got gadgets in their pockets. They could tune in and catch the show and so on. And so, okay, we're more wound together as people. Let's try to see if we can transfer peace and great understanding. It's just that the epicenter of dumbassification happens to be the United States of America with Trump POTUS.
Wait, is that sounds like the name of a song? Dumbassification.
I'm a lyricist. So, I mean, people have, and we have a lot of people worldwide that are SMDH, and they're like, what's going on there? So we have to, work our way. I think thinking globally and acting locally is the thing that saves us.
He's Chuck D. He's rapper, producer. Don't call him an actor. And of course,
not an actor.
The leader of Public Enemy.
And it's early morning.
But it's Prophets of Rage. So you got members of Public Enemy, Rage Against the Machine, and Cypress Hill.
Can I name those members?
Yes, you can.
It's the one and only fantastic Tom Morello.
He's one of the great guitar players in the world.
Yep, he has reinvented the way the guitar, does its work.
All you have to do is hear him on The Ghost of Tom Joad with Bruce Springsteen, right?
He is the straw that stirs the drink.
Okay, so Tom's in it.
Tom, you have Be Real, the almighty Be Real from Cypress Hill. He is the charismatic leader, microphone A, the shaman, A1. You have DJ Lord, one of the great turntablists in the world. As Tom Morello makes the guitar sound like a turntable, DJ Lord makes the turntable sound like a guitar. Wow. And you have the great Timmy Comerford, Timmy C, who the bass plays him. He's the spiritual leader, and then you got the god of hard drums, Brad Wilk. And together those three create those magics, that magic. And we play, we're all sports heads, right? And we're the defense. Myself, Timmy C on bass, and Brad Wilk. We play the back. We're like, we cover the back. The front guys are DJ Lord, Tom Morello, and Be Real. they're the offense.
Yeah.
And we take the stage just like that. We have theme music. Dun 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 dun.
Do people recognize if they hear your voice or they see your what would they recognize more?
When I first started my career, they say, "Here comes this 6'5", 250-pound dude," and they say, "Oh, that voice is this dude." So,
and you're not 6'5". No. But that voice, that voice arrives before you do.
Yeah, it arrived before I did, and arrived from my father. My father could yell across the town, and when he said, "Did you hear me call you?" And you could not say no. I mean, he would shake the panels. You know, he passed last year, you know, so, you know, he would shake the panels, and you was like, "Yo, just beat me down. Just don't yell at me." So he would be very happy I was on your show.
Oh, well, that's cool.
He would be very happy.
We'll continue with Chuck D. I want to ask you about Colin Kaepernick, Muhammad Ali, and the connection between those two, growing up with Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy, and Rap Jeopardy.
Okay, yeah.
Will you do it?
Well, if they don't hang me out there.
Fritzy, you can help Chuck D, okay?
I can.
Okay, but
we'll keep it painless.
He did not do any lyrics when you saw him, did he, Chuck?
No. He was very kind at the door, man.
Okay, does it bother you?
Goldie? Goldie came with us, and he said, "I want to travel with you." And he doesn't give a damn about me. He just wants to meet you. See, look, there he's in the back.
Goldie.
Cursing me out. There's Goldie.
So when you hear people come up to you and they do the lyrics to your songs, does that bother you?
I feel as good as Bob Dylan.
I don't think Bob feels good about that.
I think he does.
No, I don't think so.
He probably won't show it, but he'll take that quiet.
Can Fritzy
drive.
do You for You next?
Of course, we're on DirecTV.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure DirecTV will get in touch with BMI.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Now all of a sudden it just cost us.
No.
Chuck, we got to have a one-time only here. Come on. Got a one-time only. How much does just maybe one verse cost?
I don't follow. I'm not a businessman. I'm not one of the rappers that say, "I'm a businessman." I'm not a businessman.
Yes.
I am a songwriter.
Yeah, Paulie.
5,000 for 5,000 for boy. We got to pick one.
All right, we'll come back. Chuck D will play Rap Jeopardy. We'll talk about Colin Kaepernick. And Fritzy does Chuck D for Chuck D right after this.
Goldie will pop up here next to me.
All right. Chuck D staying with us, of course, leader of the group Public Enemy, but the new group, the super group, is called Prophets of Rage. You got members of Public Enemy, Rage Against the Machine in Cypress Hill. The debut self-titled album, Prophets of Rage, available tomorrow. Is there going to be a tour?
Played in front of 2.5 million people before our first record.
Oh.
Yeah, North America, South America, and we just completed North and South Europe. 2.5 million people, and it's real. I mean, it's like, you know what? I told my guys in Public Enemy, who, by the way, you know, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
And it wasn't like, oh, well, here comes the rappers, we're going to dilute it. No, you know, we made innovation. But I told my guys, I said, this is great, guys. I'm going to the All-Star game, though, me and DJ Lloyd.
You didn't want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony?
No, I'm saying in jest. I'm saying Prophets of Rage is like going to the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
While they remain with the Utah Jazz.
Wow.
I heard y'all talk about Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert, yes. You grew up with Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy.
Down the street, right down the block. Eddie, both of them tremendously funny.
Who did you think was going to be the one who would make it between those two?
Well, Charlie was older than me, and I had one of my homeboys, you know, was in the class, and they would come back with the exploits of Charlie Murphy every day, saying what he did in class. And so therefore I was a fan of Charlie Murphy like 75, 76. And I knew Eddie Murphy because Eddie was always funny, and he had great impersonations, but he was always a ladies' man too. Oh. He would come to the park with shoes and pants, and we were the dirty guys with mud on our sleeve, like, you know. But Eddie was always a smooth dude, yeah.
But when he broke, though.
Well, we knew it.
When he went big.
First time, no, when Eddie Murphy went big in the hood is when we saw him on Saturday Night Live, and he had a skit where he bought this big box. If God made us equal, he'd have gave y'all one of these. And we were like, yo, he's on Channel 4.
NBC.
What the fuck? We were like, That's when Eddie Murphy made it big. And then he saw my mom, I think, in the mall, Roosevelt Field. He said, "Oh, that's nothing. I'm going to make the movies." And then 48 Hours happened, and he had to move out of Long Island.
When
He had
did
to get out of there.
When did you know you were famous?
When did I know I was famous? Am I? I always tell people I'm infamous. I think certain things touched me, like my first year playing Nassau Coliseum and also the Garden. That's
When you go back home and then you realize you're selling out these places that you used to go to as a kid, that's got to be.
Yeah, and playing the Garden was like kind of surreal the first time, 87. It's like, in the beginning of my career, when you look at, and I've been on 106 tours, 30-year vet. In the beginning, looking at all those people and performing, it looked like pizza, one big pizza or a big rug. Then playing stadiums with U2, I was like, what is this dude way up there getting out of this? So, this is like I said, it's like icing with a cherry on top playing with Prophets of Rage and the best players in the world doing what they do. I'm the weakest link. Yeah. But if I'm the weakest link on nights, it's a problem.
It's pretty good.
It's a problem. Yeah, we're very competitive. They're all at the top of their game. So
I wanted to ask you about Colin Kaepernick. I mentioned this at the passing of Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
I think there are a group of athletes who didn't understand what Ali was really all about.
Especially at that time.
Yeah, but now they understand, and I think it kind of, something clicked with a lot of athletes where they said, if it's LeBron or Dwayne Wade or, Colin Kaepernick.
And LeBron has been incredible. He's been tremendous. There's always the best players. Look, if the top players don't take a stand and throw their fists up in the air to fight for what's right, and also to transcend their sport a little bit, and take a note from the athletes from the past, it makes it difficult for someone who is trying to negotiate their position, their place in their job. So the top players have to look out. In the 60s, you had the top players look out, whether it be a Ali, whether it be a Bill Russell and Jim Brown uniting with them and making concise statements. Athletes in the 60s used to even write books.
Yeah.
And not the books that kind of happen today where I got to write a writer that's going to write what I think is on my mind. The guys like Wally Jones. Remember Wally Jones? He wrote a book.
76ers guard?
Yeah, 76ers.
When a W-A-L-I?
Yeah.
Wally Jones?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then athletes in the 60s and the 70s, although they didn't have microphone time, because, they 30 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, and they would give them the mic for about 5 seconds. Well, Muhammad Ali grabbed the mic. And they thanked Allah. He says, okay, you're going to respect what I respect. Athletes, if they couldn't even make a verbal statement, they changed their name.
Kareem did.
Yeah. I mean, they changed their name to Muslim Islamic names to even make a powerful statement. Before the world be freeze, and then the more free, meta world peace and things like that.
Is Kaepernick making a difference?
Of course, because he resonates to so many people that don't have a voice. And then we might take sports and entertainment a little bit too seriously, to the point we don't think that athletes should be able to speak in this country, and that's a disservice to the power that these people have, because there's so many people are voiceless, and we're in a situation right now where the have-nots are so much on the increase and people are on the peripheral edge. I've heard people talk about, these NBA players that come in and they went through all this money. Well, a black athlete that comes in has an extension of a family that might not have that doctor and lawyer when it comes down to his cousins, nephews, and that's just the catching up of time or being held back where that, all right, you're that guy. You have to look across maybe 3 or 4 families or maybe 2 or 3 generations to support. And that's not to say that everybody or people of other color or white folks don't have it rough in their families. But there's enough of a head start of people who've had their own businesses, have owned homes, also have a solid place in society of governing their area or education that black folks are still trying to catch up with. Look, when I was 5 years old, then they passed the Civil Rights Bill. That's some damn nerve to say, now you guys are civilized. It's like it's 100 years after slavery. You know, the catching up after the scarring of a people might take 200, 300 years. So what Colin Kaepernick is doing, he's focused. He has a focus on saying, this has to be said whether you feel it or not, because they didn't feel those athletes in the 60s, and they were kind of coherent on what they were talking about. Today, people have a movement called Black Lives Matter that people on the outside might say, oh, it's a violent movement, but you're not taking everything into account and consideration on how it's bringing people to the forefront of being and doing better.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. Fritzy's going to do Chuck D for Chuck D. Rap Jeopardy as well.
And you said Cube did it too?
Yeah, Cube did it. He didn't want to, but then he did it, and then I think...
Cube is the dude that has two brains in his head, so if he couldn't be good in it...
No, he was good at it. He just, I think, and once again, it's got to be in the form of a question. This is Jeopardy, okay, Chuck? All right? So don't do what Cube made the mistake. He wouldn't say it in form of a question.
And that's a dude that doesn't make too many mistakes.
Yeah, well, but this messed around, got a triple-double. I don't buy that at all, Chuck. Right? Come on.
He's incredible.
I would torch him. I would torch Ice.
Cube is the guy.
He's not getting a triple-double.
Both Ices are unbelievable. Ice-T and Ice Cube. Those are my brothers.
He didn't get a triple-double, though, and we know that. He did not.
Yo, look, but he's a decathlete in music and rap.
I give you that.
He's what you call like
and acting
the Bo Jackson of music.
And acting as well. All right, we'll come back. Rap Jeopardy with Chuck D, and Fritzy does Chuck D for Chuck D.
Did you meet Goldie?
I did. I got a photo with Goldie there.
There you go, Goldie again.
Yeah. We'll come back. Come back after this on the Dan Patrick Show. He's Chuck D staying with us till the top of the hour. Rapper.
I'm so honored. Man, the crew, Dan Patrick.
That's my two live crew over there.
I know.
That's sort of live crew.
Oh.
Chuck is part of the supergroup Prophets of Rage, members of Public Enemy, Rage Against the Machine, Cypress Hill. The debut self-titled album, Prophets of Rage, available tomorrow. We're going to do Rap Jeopardy. All right, you ready? Okay. So now it's got to be in the form of a question, your answer. You know how this works. I'm Alex Trebek. All right, you ready?
Okay,
Okay,
Alex.
here we go.
Okay.
Terminator X speaks with his...
What are hands?
That is correct. What are hands?
I feel like y'all gave me the second grader clap. Good. He spelled bad.
It's a TV show, Chuck. 911 is...
What are jokes?
Yeah, okay. We'll take that one.
Yeah.
Most of my heroes...
What is a stamp?
Yeah, what, Paulie?
What is don't appear on no stamps?
Chuck, we're not... Let me go to the judge. No, we're not going to take
I
that.
make a good sound.
Beat is for Sonny Bono. Beat is for...
Who is Yoko Ono?
That is correct.
Nice.
Yes. Yo.
What is Bum Rush the Show?
There you go. Look at that. There you go. Now we have some bonus.
That was like drinking my own vomit.
I know. Okay. All right. Okay.
It was like a rap Alzheimer's test.
Curtis Blow used to take his girl to see them go against one another. Fritzy.
Who are the Knicks?
Fritzy.
What is Tiny and Earl the Pearl? Who are Tiny and Earl the Pearl?
When Daryl Mack throws a curve, you've got the nerve to turn this. Fritzy.
I throw a curve, you got the nerve to make a triple play. Now how devastated can it be?
Chuck,
Fritzy is
see,
killing it.
but you wanted it, and I gave it to you. I'm bringing you noise right now.
Yeah, but I'm standing there in my phone like this.
We're throwing fastballs by you.
Whoa.
With a chip on his shoulder.
And the fastballs are like 79.
It's like Jamie Moyer throwing fastballs by you.
Oh.
With a chip on his shoulder, Eric B. holds the microphone like this.
It's a Rakim line.
Fritzy.
I hold the microphone like a grudge.
Man, they're gonna kick me out of the rap hallways.
They're going to take you out of the Rock and Roll Hall of
It's
Fame?
because I'm focused on these Prophets of Rage lyrics.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fritzy?
We got to give him one more. One quick one. in the show, Slick Rick was here when he ran into Tony the Tiger.
I can't catch lyrics. I can't catch other people's lyrics.
All right,
like
Fritzy,
that.
what is it?
Got on the D train at 205th. I saw a pretty girl, so I sat beside her. Then she went raw. It was Tony the Tiger.
Wow.
The band is Prophets of Rage, the self-titled album Prophets of Rage, available tomorrow. Fritzy, can you give me a little Chuck D to Chuck D as we say goodbye?
And this is the reason why we make lyrics, so
Right.
people like Fritzy can actually do them.
This is my big
We'd
moment.
be focused on our own.
Here we go, Fritzy.
All right, Fritzy, you got it.
Caught in the middle and not surrendering. I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling. Some claim that I'm a smuggler. Some say I never heard of you. A rap burglar. False media. We don't need it, do we? It's fake. It's what it be to you. Dig me? I see that tape recorder and I grab it. No, you can't have it back, silly rabbit. I'm going to my media assassin, Harry Allen. I gotta ask him, yo, Harry, you all right? Are we that type?
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.